The WNBA world is buzzing with controversy, and Alyssa Thomas is right in the middle of it. She's being investigated after casting the one vote that blocked Caitlin Clark from becoming a unanimous Rookie of the Year. Fans, players, and analysts are in disbelief. Was this an honest vote, or is there something more going on behind the scenes? Could personal bias or corruption be at play here? The WNBA's credibility is now being questioned, with demands for transparency growing louder. Social media is on fire, and analysts are calling this a potential scandal that could change the league forever. But before we dive deeper, do yourself a favor, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the latest updates on this story and more WNBA news.
Now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots. I'm going to side a little bit with Alyssa Thomas, who said she is the latest WNBA woke gas bag to rip Indiana Fever fan over alleged racism, demanding the franchise and league do something about it.
Alyssa Thomas has managed to stir up one of the biggest controversies in WNBA history, and it's all because of a single vote. That one vote stopped Caitlin Clark from becoming just the 5th unanimous Rookie of the Year in the league's history. Can you believe it? Just one vote.
If you got people in a room, if you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
After all the noise about racism, unfair treatment, and other drama surrounding the WNBA, Alyssa just couldn't help but jump in and add more fuel to the fire. Now, everyone is pointing fingers, asking the same question. Who in their right mind would do something like this? Let's be real here. If Alyssa had even an ounce of common sense left, she'd know how ridiculous this all looks. Caitlin Clark had an amazing season, breaking records left and right, dealing with all kinds of criticism. And what does Alyssa do? She makes it worse. Instead of celebrating Clark's talents, Alyssa throws a wrench into the whole thing. It's not just unfair. It's like a slap in the face to every fan who expected things to be handled with at least a little respect. And come on, who could possibly be that one person who didn't think Clark deserved all 67 votes? It's like missing a neon sign flashing superstar. Honestly, if you missed what Caitlin Clark did this season, you either live under a rock or you're blinded by some serious bias. Clark was on fire, but nope. Someone, cough Alyssa cough, decided to vote against her. And now, everyone's staring at Alyssa Thomas. It's not just that her vote was a head-scratcher, but she's also got a reputation for playing the race card whenever it suits her. If there's anyone people suspect of pulling something shady in the WNBA, Alyssa's at the top of that list. Let's take a step back here. It would almost be laughable if it weren't so ridiculous. Alyssa, who has been around the league for years, decided to give her precious vote to Angel Reese instead of Caitlin Clark. Why, you ask? Well, people are speculating. Could it be because Reese has been crying racism every time Clark gets a little bit of praise? It's almost too convenient. And let's not forget, Reese herself has made comments about how Clark's fans only like her because she's white. So now, here comes Alyssa, a supposed professional, supporting that narrative with her vote. It doesn't look like a vote based on talent. It looks like Alyssa is pushing some sort of personal agenda.
And this is why we would love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had that one vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who you are. In the NBA, voting is not anonymous. Yeah. So I would love for the WNBA to make the voting so we see who put the votes where.
So Alyssa, what's going on here? Is it jealousy? Did you feel threatened by Caitlin Clark, a rookie, stealing the spotlight? So you decided to throw your vote to Angel Reese just to make some kind of statement? For someone who's always preaching about fairness and integrity, this is starting to look a lot like insecurity. And here's the kicker, you didn't just snub Caitlin Clark. You've disrespected the entire league and every single fan who has been following Clark's meteoric rise. If you're playing favorites, at least be upfront about it instead of pretending to take some moral high ground. Let's be honest, Alyssa, your vote wasn't about fairness, it was about spite. And now because you couldn't put your biases aside, the whole WNBA is caught up in this mess. It's not just pathetic, it's embarrassing. If you really wanted to back Angel Reese, you should have had a solid reason. But guess what? There isn't one. Reese didn't have the numbers, she didn't make the same impact, and she definitely didn't capture the attention of the entire league the way Caitlin Clark did. This isn't about race or loyalty, it's about talent. And Clark has more than proven she's the best rookie this year. Now let's talk about Alyssa's track record. This isn't the first time she's made a lot of noise when things didn't go her way. She's always been quick to point out when she feels she's been wronged. But now that the tables have turned, suddenly she's the one looking shady. People are starting to wonder if Alyssa is really as fair as she claims to be. Or if she's just another player manipulating the system to push her own narrative. Alyssa, you've dragged your own name through the mud, and for what? To make a point that hardly anyone agrees with? Your vote didn't make you look brave or bold, it made you look petty. Instead of celebrating talent or sticking to your principles, you took the low road. And now both fans and players are questioning the integrity of the entire voting process. This isn't just a minor blip on the radar, it's a full-blown scandal. And guess who's right at the center of it? Yup, you guessed it. Alyssa Thomas. The fallout has already started. Analysts like Andrea Carter are calling for more transparency in the voting process. And let's be real, that's just a nice way of saying, Alyssa, what on earth were you thinking? You've sparked a debate that's no longer about talent, but about bias, corruption, and favoritism. This whole situation goes beyond Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It's about whether players like you can be trusted to make fair decisions when it counts. That's why people are side-eyeing Alyssa's motives. It's not just about who deserved the vote, it's about Alyssa trying to push her own worn-out agenda. And it gets worse. This controversy has analysts and fans wondering if there's more at play here. Is this personal? Alyssa Thomas has been extremely vocal about her views on race and fairness in the WNBA, and this vote looks like just another chapter in her ongoing saga of attention-seeking. But Alyssa, this isn't about you. This is the Rookie of the Year award, a title that's supposed to recognize raw talent, hard work, and domination on the court. When the news of this vote broke, the internet lost its collective mind. Social media exploded with all sorts of theories, jealousy, rivalry, you name it. Some people are saying that Caitlin Clark's rise threatens Alyssa, and instead of helping to lift up the next generation of players, Alyssa is out here playing politics with her vote like it's some kind of high school popularity contest. Even Andrea Carter, who usually stays above the drama, had to step in and call for accountability in the voting process. She pretty much laid it all out. If players can't separate their personal feelings from their professional responsibilities, then we've got a major problem. Alyssa, you're making the WNBA look like a joke. Instead of everyone talking about how incredible Caitlin Clark's season was, they're stuck debating whether the voting process is rigged. You didn't just mess up one vote, you've put the credibility of the entire system in question.
It's officially official. Caitlin Clark is your WNBA Rookie of the Year. She received 66 of the 67 votes. 66 to 67. So she is not your unanimous Rookie of the Year. And frankly, that is ludicrous. It is ludicrous that we are sitting here this morning and not able to just say Caitlin Clark, unanimous Rookie of the Year.
And what about Caitlin Clark? Instead of celebrating her Rookie of the Year award, she's stuck with this controversy hanging over her head.
I think it showed a lack of professionalism, at least from any way I could look at it or argue it. I would love to see the voter come out and defend their pick and explain their pick, because I could not understand how you could make the argument that Angel Reese would be fourth. But she was not deserving of a first place vote in comparison to Caitlin Clark.
This was supposed to be her moment, but thanks to Alyssa's vote, it's been overshadowed by scandal. So congratulations, Alyssa. You've turned what should have been a celebration of the league's brightest new talent into a controversy that no one wanted. Was the attention worth it? Because it sure wasn't worth tarnishing the integrity of the game. The reaction across the WNBA community has been wild. Everyone, players, analysts, fans, you name it, they're all talking about how Alyssa Thomas could have cast her vote for Angel Reese. This isn't just about one vote anymore. It's about the entire voting process being questioned. How can fans trust the league if something like this can happen? How can the players feel confident that they'll be judged fairly when votes like this are cast? If the WNBA doesn't step in and handle this situation quickly, it's going to haunt both the league and Alyssa for a long time. And let's talk about the WNBA's response or lack of it. There's been complete silence. No statements, no clarifications, nothing. The league is just letting this mess stew, leaving everyone confused and frustrated. This is turning into a PR nightmare. As for Alyssa, her reputation is on life support right now. People are already throwing around accusations of corruption and racial bias, and those are the kinds of claims that don't just disappear. This vote might follow her for the rest of her career if the WNBA doesn't step in and clean up this disaster. The credibility of the league's awards process is in serious danger, and good luck trying to convince fans and players that it's not rigged after this. If this was Alyssa's attempt at making a statement, she succeeded, but not in the way she probably intended. Instead of looking like a champion for fairness, she's ended up looking like the real problem here. If anyone's playing favorites, it's Alyssa, and now everyone sees it.
The absurdity of Angel Reese being given a vote for Rookie of the Year. That one vote, compared to Caitlin Clark's 66 votes, I feel is either a troll, which I don't really think is a troll, but I'm making a point there.
In the end, this controversy isn't going away anytime soon. This whole mess is going to affect team chemistry too. Players are going to be looking over their shoulders, wondering if their hard work is going to be ignored or twisted because of someone's personal agenda. How can they trust that their sweat and tears are being judged fairly when something like this can happen? It's not just Caitlin Clark who's been hurt by this situation. Every player in the WNBA is affected when the integrity of the awards process is thrown into doubt. Alyssa's actions have cast a shadow over the entire league, and unless the WNBA steps in and addresses this head-on, the damage could be long-lasting. So Alyssa, what's next? Only time will tell how long this scandal will follow you, but one thing is for sure, this isn't going to go away quietly. The damage has been done, and unless there's swift action from the WNBA to fix this controversy is going to leave a stain on the league for years to come. For now, we're left wondering if the WNBA can truly be trusted to handle things fairly, or if this is just the beginning of an even bigger issue. What do you think? Is this a case of personal bias or just a misunderstanding? Let us know your thoughts. Share your comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.